So you were thinking about buying land to build your dream home on here in Middle Tennessee. Well, that is great because today we're going to talk about everything you are going to need to know before you buy raw land here in Tennessee. Folks, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living, working, playing, and anything in between here in Tennessee, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market here in Tennessee. My name is Mark with Welcome Home Nashville, Tennessee, and folks, we get calls and emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move here to the Nashville, Tennessee area, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a personalized Zoom call with us, all in the description below, so that we can help you make a smooth move here to Nashville, Tennessee. All right, folks, so as I mentioned today, we are going to talk about what you are going to need to know and what you will need to be aware of if you are planning on buying raw land here in Tennessee. Real estate is a very expensive investment, and while unimproved raw land may seem like a great deal on the front end and it may have that lower initial cost, it does come with its own list of necessary expenses before you get the keys to your dream build. The first thing on our list today, especially with the history of people purchasing things sight unseen in recent years, is that you really need to get out on the property and put boots on the ground and walk it yourself. So let's say, for example, you're looking at a 10-acre tract and there are a couple acres that have already been cleared and they present very well and it's beautiful, the grass is green, you know, there are some nice hardwoods, but the rest of the property is wooded or grown up. You know, this can be a problem. It really can, especially if you're considering buying the property without putting boots on the ground first. Many times you're going to find terrain features in these uncleared areas that are hidden that are going to make the property possibly unusable or unmanageable. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes you'll find a lot of rocky, uneven terrain, a lot of brush or immature trees, you know, or even other things that could cause issues for you. The reason you will find this is because it's typically very labor intensive and very costly to clear these areas. You know, it can get expensive very quickly when you're clearing this type of stuff. So again, we really encourage you to take your time and learn what is involved, cost and process wise, to clear the rest of the land and make it usable, make it manageable. Essentially, a piece of land that could be a good deal on the front end can turn into a not so great deal very quickly. You know, when you're clearing these rocky areas, it takes a lot of money to move large rock out of an area. It takes a lot of money to grade land, to level it out. You know, it takes a lot of money to clear unusable timber. You know, those young trees, all that brush, it doesn't necessarily have an inherent value like hardwoods do. So all of this, again, can get very costly very quickly, and you need to be aware of that, or at least aware of the possibility before you close on a piece of raw land. Next up is going to be the utilities, or lack thereof rather. There's still many places around Tennessee, both middle, east, and west, that you can purchase a plot of land that does not have access to any utilities like power, water, sewer, internet. And in these instances, again, things can get very expensive very quickly. So you'll need to find out who the utility providers are in the area where you're thinking about purchasing land, and then get the name and number of someone at those utility companies who can come out to the land after you go under contract and let you know what it's going to take to get those utilities to your property and how much it's going to ultimately cost to get those utilities to your home site. You know, this is going to be done during your due diligence period typically. This is why we recommend making that call and having all of this lined up so that when you do go under contract on your dream piece of land, you can get those folks out there during your due diligence period. And, you know, it's just vital that you know this information up front and that you are completely satisfied with that information before you ever think of closing on the land. You do this during the due diligence period for two reasons. The first being so that you will have the opportunity to potentially back out of the transaction without getting stuck with a piece of land that won't be usable to you, and it won't fit your needs. And the second reason is so that you have that time buffer to get these folks out there and inspect the land and get you that vital information that you're going to need before you ever think of going to the closing table. All right, folks, my last point that I will leave you with, and it's going to kind of tie into our first 2 points, but it's kind of a crappy point. You know, now we're talking about septic systems. So oftentimes what you're going to see out in these rural areas, out in the countryside here in Tennessee, where everybody wants to, you know, escape from the city, escape from the crowds, and, you know, carve out their own little chunk of life out in the woods where nobody can bother them, is that you won't have a sewer system to tie into most of the time. Not all the time, there are exceptions, but majority of the time when you're buying out in the rural countryside, you're not going to have septic lines to tie into, or sewer lines to tie into. So you're going to have to be aware that, you know, a septic system is going to be your primary option. And what this means is that you're going to need a percolation test. Essentially what that test is that, you know, they're going to let you know how well the soil on the property is going to absorb the gray water from your septic tank and whether or not you can have a septic field on the property. Percolation tests are not necessarily expensive, but what they will tell you certainly can be. And this is why it is always, always, always a good idea to find a soil scientist that serves the area you're looking at purchasing land in, and having that person's contact on hand and ready so that when you are under contract, you can get them out to the property during your due diligence period and have the percolation testing done before you ever see the closing table. You know, if you do happen to close without having that percolation test done, you know, you can end up with a major, major, major headache on your hands later down the line when you're ready to put in a septic system. You know, there is a possibility that you can't even put in a septic system. There's a possibility, you know, you wanted to build that, you know, that dream 4-bedroom, 3-bath, you know, custom log home out in the countryside, and that was going to be your retirement and you were going to live there forever, and then your kids were going to inherit it, and you had all these great dreams and aspirations that we want to help you achieve, but you bought the land without having a perk test done before you closed, and now you've ended up with a piece of land that it only perks for a 2-bedroom home, and there's nothing you can really do to change that. So anyways, folks, kind of a crappy point, but it does tie into our other points. Get that perk test done way, way before you ever think about heading to the closing table. And really, I guess the message of this video is to do your due diligence when buying land. You know, make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you ever go under contract, and you're going to end up okay. So folks, that is going to wrap up our video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it helped shed a little bit of light on some of the things you're going to need to know before purchasing land here in Tennessee and building your dream home. And remember, folks, again, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a personalized Zoom call with us so that we can help you make a smooth move here to Tennessee. Till next time, I hope to see you around town soon.